So that's how they get hold of these properties. That's how communities change character. You just sell the property. They don't make new land. You get the property, first thing they do is sell it. We're foolish, and we drive fancy cars and live outside the neighborhood, and first thing you do is sell the property. That's not too bright. So just because you got a little money and you're living good outside the community, struggling with a job, right? We still don't know how to preserve wealth. And that's what this program take you through the process. This is the whole course about 18 months. It's an 18-month crash course. But of course, I'm going to be here. We're going to have educational programs as you go deeper into certain areas and so forth. But we blow through 18-month course to show you the creation, accumulation, preservation of wealth. And I got an initial 30-day life plan course where you create your vision, you put it on paper, you look at your current situation, your budgeting, so forth, look at your dreams, what do you want to do in the future. That's why I said it's a good tool before you get married to sit down and put together a life plan together. So that way you'll be equally yoked, you'll be on the same page. And that way you can chart your progress, right? So don't base your relationship on lust. You know, what about, that's why our divorce rate is so high, because we emotions. We dealing with emotions and not the reality of living in this country or being able to provide for ourselves and our families, right? And they want to, they want to get back in the community. That's prime real estate, man. The inner city is prime real estate. See, and I know that the cities are struggling. They're trying to kill you off. They got bad water in Michigan and all that other kind of stuff all over the country we don't even hear about. But we have to take charge of inner city, economics. First, we take care of ourselves, educate ourselves. Like I say, this program, you got communities. It's very inexpensive. But I want you to look and see how inexpensive it is. I'm not going to tell you everything. You got to get into the habit of search, seek, and ye shall find. Okay, this is a solution to your pain. Sometimes that's why 13 to 35, that 13-year-old, that should be the eyes being opening, and then by the time you get to be 25 years old, you're like, hey, man, I got to think about my future. Partying and waking up from the partying. Hopefully they don't go down that road. This material will help you to see, conduct, being a life, education, early years with what you do with your, how you prepare yourself so your future self will be productive and prosperous. So the things that you do now, the foundations you build strong now, so when you become older, you don't have to worry about building those foundations. And odds are when you get older, the foundations that you should have built in early years will never be built. That's why generational curses get passed on from one generation to the others. And by going through this material, and you see how valuable it is and how it's changed your life, then that's when the blessing really kicks in, because now you can be an advocate and help others, right? Because you've gone through it, you feel it, and that will help you to be blessed through this program. And everything is about learning how to self-educate. That's why the basic early years are important. Teach how to read, write, think, reason. That's what the middle school process, instead of getting there running around, playing and so forth, not thinking yet. But that's where the parents come in, to get them structured, get them grounded, because the journey is theirs. But they have to be able to, your job as a parent is to raise children who are self-sufficient, that can take care of themselves. Right? Now, if your child's still 35 years old, 40 years old, living in your house, you handicap that individual. Especially our black women. You handicap these young men. You're turning them into something that nature didn't intend for them to be. You're loving them to death. Remember one time I was in a post office, and this young lady was complaining about her child. He don't do nothing. Just like his daddy. Sorry. When he turned 18 years old, he gonna have to go because I can't deal with this no more. But I had to say something. I said, but you raising that young man. Does he do chores? Have you expected? Have you held him? Is there any structure? Is there any discipline in his life? If he's not doing anything, it's because you failed to give him those mandates. And now you expect him to be something that you never nurtured him to be. You weren't able to be because you're not a man. Some women do it. I was raised by my mother primarily, but I had uncles and boyfriends that was positive. My mama's boyfriends and stuff that come down to some stability there, that interjected some positive male influence in my life. It gave me some good wisdom. Wisdom comes from listening, learning to listen, so you don't make the same mistakes. And when you get that basic education, then you're able to self-educate yourself. You're going through this educational process, but you have to be able to go through the educational process, to get to the point where you can see things clearly. And initially, we are very miseducated, and you stay miseducated, especially if somebody else is paying you, and all your energy is going to work for somebody else instead of yourself. That's why I said, hey, take 10% of your time and invest in this program, 3 to 4 hours a week. So that way you're a person that works all these years and then all of a sudden they get laid off or they have to work, get retired. Sometimes their lifespan is not that great because they don't know what else to do. They're lost. They're devastated. So develop another part of your being so you can make a transition. You got to have a plan B and a plan C. And a lot of our youngsters, young men who go to prison at a young age and come back after living a life of institutions, confinement, they say, and they come back trying to do better, trying to be better for the community. And, they tell you there's no future in gangbang. There's no future. If you're going to die, you're going to go to prison. And how many homies did they pour a drop for? To my dead homie. Is that all you going to give me, man? Just a little drop? These set a bottle aside for him. You go to prison, nobody writes you, all your homies that was so cool, they're looking out for you, that was family, they never show up. No, man, I can't go up in there, man. I got a warrant. Got to think positive and be positive. Man. But you got to have the tools to do it with. This is the laws, and this is not common sense. People say common sense. The common sense ain't common. All right? And we need to understand that everybody's life is important, not just our life. You can't destroy other people just so you can live. Watching this program, where the brother, he was, it was a gang thing on, I think it was Texas or something, it was on Netflix. Oh, yeah, by the way. This program, man, called the Green Leaves, a church program. It is unbelievable. It is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. It has 3 seasons to it. It's pretty interesting. I kind of blew through it because in developing this ministry and stuff, I already know that kind of stuff going through it. But sometimes you just need to refresh your mind and see things from a perspective that you wouldn't normally get, in a normal everyday existence. And that's we have to be different. We have to. That's why people are running from the churches these days, and they don't want to have anything to do with Christianity. But I tell them, well, it's pretty bad. And when you learn that most of the stories in there were fabricated, they came from ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs off the wall and stuff, and they plagiarized and they changed the stories around. It's unbelievable, man. It will leave a sour taste in your mouth. But that's why I said, forget that. Go all the way back, before the time of Jesus, and understand how for tens of thousands of years, how societies were able to form and work together and prosper because they had the laws of Maya in their heart, right? Because in Egypt, and most of the, and I'm doing some research. So I'm share this with you with the later of it, but this is the land of milk and honey. And if you line up the Bible with Moses, right, and coming into the land and looking at over the mountain and stuff, the land of milk and honey, and not making it into the promised land. If you look at all the geography and the names that are lined up, you can find that the same names today in the United States. Mountains and stuff, that same mountain, that field, because the mountain in the Bible, if you go look at it, it's like a little hill. But if you go do that in the United States, go to that place that the Bible lines up with, it's here in America. And Egypt was all over the world, right? Egypt was, and there was an Egypt here too. Look at the caves and the Grand Canyon. All that used to be cities carved out in cities and stuff. It was civilizations that were already here. So based on the research, they really got it twisted around. See, they really got it twisted around. But it doesn't, but that's nice. But it just, what matters is your personal growth and development. We have to change. We have to be better. We have to be able to work together. We have to build together. We can't leave a legacy to our children of nonsense. And if we want to stop this prison industrial complex and police shootings and so forth like that, we have to get control of ourselves, our communities, and men have to stand up. All right? We're going to get into that a little later. You know, shut down the prisons, police, criminal courts. And we have to stop killing each other. It's the rat in the cage syndrome. You know, we're not, our young men are sagging, they got their pants down, and now they don't even comb their hair. Now, somehow they can learn these negative traits. We should be able to get these positive traits in their mind as well, because we know it. First of all, I got to get you to walk through the gate. First of all, you got to walk through the gates. That's what you're trying to do at the end of the day, walk through the gates, qualify to walk through the gates. But if you're not mentally sound, if your heart ain't right, you're not going to make it to the next level. That's why the first lessons in my yacht are so important. So important. Get rid of all that nonsense, because it's destructive. It ain't not doing you no good. That's one thing. Watch that Greenleaf movie, man. These leadership just get scammed, man. They rotten. I'm not saying all of them. I'm not saying all of them. But all I'm doing is because they're in a position that has caused our communities to go down the drain. So we have to reevaluate the whole scenario. We should have, all our parks should be safe. We should have activity for our young people. We should be able to, and men, this is men. Men got to stand up. We want to cut down this community violence. And the men, you got a 1 million man march, 1 million men enrolled in this program. Let's take back our families. Believe me, just listen to what I'm saying. Because men should be able to, in our community, we should know where all the drug houses are. It may not be as bad. I don't know if it's as bad as it used to be now, since you got weed places opened up by the government, the state now. Locate the criminals' house, the ones that are doing the drive-by shootings, and you know who they are.